Last episode, I faced my very first real trial as an apprentice. We were ordered to build a working circuit under pressure, and at first I stumbled. My conduit was cut too short. My screwdriver slipped from my hand, and the laughter of my classmates cut deeper than any wire. But humiliation became fuel. I slowed down, measured carefully, tested the wires with a voltage tester, and warned others of the danger. Step by step, our team finished the circuit. And when the bulb finally lit up, the room erupted in cheers. For the first time, I wasn't just the outsider. I was John the apprentice who made the light shine. That night, the glow of the bulb still burned in my mind. I told myself that if I could light a circuit, I could master the tools themselves. I opened my notebook and filled it with words, repeating them until they sounded like a litany. Wire stripper, voltage tester, conduit bender, fish tape. They were no longer just vocabulary, they were stepping stones. I swore to myself that the next time I touched them, I would not simply hold a tool, I would command it. The next morning, the training hall felt more like an arena than a classroom. Rows of tables lined with toolboxes gleamed under harsh lights. Apprentices shifted nervously, whispering about who would fail, who would shine. My palms sweated as I stepped forward. When the signal was given, I opened my toolbox and reached for the first tool. The wire stripper felt heavier than expected, its jaws gleaming like the fangs of some beast. My hands shook, but I forced myself to remember the cheers, the light, the respect I had won. I positioned the wire pressed, and heard a clean click as the insulation slid off in one perfect piece. That sound silenced the whispers around me. In that instant, the word from my notebook became truth. Wire stripper removes insulation from wires. Next came the voltage tester. A simple tool, yet one that could decide between life and death. I touched it to the wire, and the tiny red light blinked to life. But to me it was more than just a light, it was awareness itself. It was as if the tool whispered, "I will protect you if you listen to me." I finally understood why its definition had been drilled into us. Voltage tester checks if a wire is live. That phrase was no longer just a rule. It had become a voice I could feel in my bones. Then came the tool that haunted me, the conduit bender. The moment I gripped it, shame rushed back the crooked bend from before, the laughter, the humiliation. My first attempt bent awkward again, and laughter erupted behind me. For a second I felt myself breaking. But then, from somewhere deeper, a memory surfaced. Tools are partners, not enemies. I steadied my breath, adjusted my stance, and pushed with patience instead of brute force. Slowly, steadily, the conduit curved into a perfect arc. Silence spread through the hall, and then applause thundered around me. That day, I did not only bend metal, I bent my fate. The last tool was the fish tape. Overconfident from my success, I yanked too hard, and the steel whip lashed out like a snake, startling Tommy so badly he almost fell. Laughter roared through the hall again. My face burned. But I remembered the lesson. The wire stripper rewarded accuracy. The voltage tester rewarded awareness. The conduit bender rewarded control. What did the fish tape demand? Patience. I steadied my breathing, slowed my movements, and guided the tape carefully. This time it slid smoothly, pulling the wire through like water flowing down a channel. The laughter faded, and applause rose once more. And another truth etched itself into me. Fish tape pulls wires through conduit. By the time the test ended, I had learned more than words. These tools were not objects of steel and plastic. They were teachers. They demanded respect and punished arrogance. They rewarded patience and punished haste. When my mentor approached me, his gaze carried weight, and his words carved themselves into my heart. Today, slow and careful apprentice becomes tomorrow's most reliable journeyman. As I stood there, something extraordinary happened in my mind's eye. My toolbox glowed, and from it emerged a golden tool belt, sturdy and shining, fastening itself around my waist. As if it had always belonged there. It was more than leather. It was a symbol of the reward for accuracy, patience, and control. That day I walked out not just as a nervous apprentice, but as John, a man who had truly stepped onto the path of the electrician. Even now, I remember the tool belt, not on my hips but on my spirit. It carried the weight of knowledge, the pride of perseverance, and the promise of more trials to come. The applause of my classmates echoed in my chest. Even Tommy's sneers could not erase my victory. But as I savored that triumph, fate was already preparing its next lesson. I did not know then that the very next tool I picked up would betray me. I did not know that the snap of a broken drill bit would silence the entire site. I did not know that humiliation could return so quickly, or that the broken drill itself would become my greatest teacher. Next time, I will tell you how that drill broke, how the sharp crack of steel became a whisper in my ear, and how I learned that every tool has a voice. The only question is, when a tool speaks, will you have the wisdom to listen?